Avery Steele person was the Blood Evolver. The only evidence he was going on was the fact that he had met these conditions as well as used gauntlets as weapons. Still, Sam didn't have much more evidence himself that the person in front of him was the real Blood Evolver. The only way to find that out was to see the person using their ability. The strange red aura, a powerful, unique ability that had been used to defeat many opponents in the game, including himself. That's why Sam wasn't adamant that Quinn was the Blood Evolver. On his wristwatch, it displayed that he was a level 1 user.
Yeah?
No way such an ability would be deemed so weak. Then another thought had come to him. The red aura ability was...
Yeah. Where are you?
working, and I get a text that says from Trevor. It says, I need your birthday and social security number. So I'm like, what? So then I get one that says, and your address. Usually this is, when people are asking this stuff out of the blue, it's a scam. So I called him. And it was actually him. He was putting me down as a beneficiary for his life insurance at work. Putting me down as a beneficiary for his life insurance at work. He's got a $100,000 life insurance policy. To work. So I get half and Tasha gets half until he and Kim get married and Kim gets half and Tasha and I split half. They're like, I don't want it. Hopefully, because that means he died. And that needs to happen after I'm gone. Not before. So I don't want it. Bro. No, it's time to renew your insurance. The perfect time is I'm going to do our insurance and change the benefits if they want to change beneficiaries. But I thought I'd like to keep them on there for a month or so to see if he likes his job. That's why I took him off of it. And it's not a match deal, apparently. They just offered all. That's their mighty check, I guess.
Pizza, pizza, pizza.
Apparently. Did we know about pictures? Same with you. I don't want your life insurance either. I was like, you don't even know my birthday? I said, I get it if you don't know the year. And then they needed to know my middle name. I said, seriously?
Wow. Wow. You know your dad's middle name? No. It's Grandpa's name. Grandpa's first name.
Robert. So he said, I did at least get that right. I just wanted to check. Ooh, this is my favorite episode. This is just what I remember from when I was a kid. final season before we got to an episode I actually remember as a kid. Because I taped this in on a tape. Not a videotape, cassette tape.
So you just had an audio.
Yeah.
I'm still recording.
Please tell me not recording. I'm so.
Sorry about that.
I had to eat dinner. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that in there. So yeah.
Something that shouldn't have been in the game. It was an ability that was unable to be selected in the servers. Yet, it could still be used for some reason, and the game devs even confirmed it wasn't a hack. Although many didn't believe this, thinking the game devs were just trying to save face. But what if it was true? Maybe this ability was slightly different from how people knew and measured current abilities. If that was the case, then the watches the military used wouldn't be able to register anything. Sam looked at Quinn once more. He wished he could confirm it right now, but he couldn't. Inside the VR game, players created avatars to be used. So from looks alone, there was no way for Sam to tell that this was the same person, and the same could be said for Quinn. So the two were unable to recognize each other. Sam stood there dazed, thinking about these thoughts. "Hey, are you alright, man?" Vex asked. "I know that thing nearly hit you, but you didn't get hurt, right?" Snapping out of his thoughts, Sam replied, "Yeah, I'm fine. I was just shocked, as you said, that's all." A little before the incident had occurred, one of Zach's team members had gone to the admin room to have a look at Quinn's last match, to see if there was an error in the game. When he had arrived, he had asked the admin to check. They pulled up the previous match on video, and both the admin and the student observed the whole 1-minute video. "So the game was broken, right? You didn't count any of the strikes made to the machine?" the student asked. At first, the admin just sat there and remained silent. The student thought he might have been doing some extra checks in the game, but instead, he was looking at it, amazed. In all of his years working, he had watched countless students play the game, but it was the first time he had seen someone do something like this. "He's amazing," the man said. "This game wasn't broken at all. He managed to hit every section, the second they started to move." The question wasn't whether this was possible or not. There were plenty of people who would be fast enough to do something like this. The real problem the man was struggling with was how. If one was to know the exact pattern of attacks and had it memorized, they could do something like this, but the game was random and didn't always perform the same set of actions. Somehow the student was able to see what was about to move before it moved. The man played the video again, and while doing so, a loud crash was heard outside of the room. It was the sound of Quinn kicking the top of the compartment of the machine into the wall. The two of them left immediately to have a look at what was going on outside. The game wasn't quite over yet, at least not in the mind of Quinn and his group. Because Quinn, Vorden, and Fex weren't exactly stupid, they knew something must have happened. The whole machine was acting strangely, and only when it was Quinn's turn, and in its final moments, something happened to the machine. Using his inspection skill on Zach once again, he confirmed that he had a magnetic skill. He must have tampered with the game. "Well, it looks like the machine broke. Good thing no one got hurt, huh? Why don't we just call this one a draw? You keep your armor there and I'll keep my crystal. It was a fun little game, wasn't it?" When saying these words, Zach's heart was beating faster, and looking at those in front of him, it started beating even more quickly. Not only was Quinn giving him strange stares, but the other two boys next to him were as well. The look in their eyes was no less frightening than Quinn's. What's wrong with these guys? Vorden wanted to say something and prepared himself a speech while the others were playing, but when he saw Quinn stepping forward, he realized there was no need for him to say anything. "First, you try to take my armor from me forcefully. Let me guess, it's because you saw we were low levels, right?" Quinn said, lifting and revealing the number on his wristwatch. "Then, you try to pretend to make things fair by playing a game that none of us have ever played before, and when you see we were about to win, you tamper and cheat at the game?" "Cheat?" Zach replied nervously, taking a step back. The others, with Zach, knew that the person in front of them was impressive when it came to hand-to-hand combat, but found it strange why Zach was so scared. After all, he was only a level 1 ability user. If the two of them were to get into a fight, Zach should be able to wipe the floor with him, they thought. Seeing Zach take another step back angered Quinn even more. He didn't know if it was a game or the fact that he had been starving himself for the last 2 days and a half, but he was getting extremely agitated by the whole thing, more so than he would have done. He was ready to snap. "Stand still," Quinn shouted in an aggressive voice. For some reason, Zach's body seemed to no longer be in control. He tried his best to move the muscles in his legs. He screamed at his brain, demanding to move his legs to get away from this person. But nothing was working. He was frozen in place. Quinn didn't realize what he had just done, that he had activated the influence skill on its own without using his system, something he had never achieved before. Zach could do nothing as he watched the glowing red eyes of the student in front of him. Episode 301. Everyone should see. The others were a little too far to see what was genuinely happening. They stood outside the booth and were watching from both sides. One side with Quinn's group on the left, and the other side with Zach's group. Each of their teams stood behind their teammates, which meant Quinn had his back facing against Vex. So even with his excellent eyesight, he didn't know what was going on and was unable to see that the influence skill was currently active. Quinn had never even thought about using the influence skill to get rid of this whole matter. Zach, being a level 6 ability user, usually meant one would have a strong mind and willpower. This wasn't always the case, but more so than not. In the past, something like this would have never worked. However, two things had changed since the last time. The first is that Quinn had increased his charm points quite a bit. The second was due to the pressure and frightening things that had happened so far. Zach's mind was very unstable. He didn't quite know what was going on, and because of this, the influence skill had a great effect. "You're going to leave that crystal behind and leave this place," Quinn ordered. At that moment, Zach obediently followed, pulling the intermediate crystal from his pouch and placing it on the floor. Soon after, he already left, and the others followed. "Well, that went a lot smoother than I thought it would," Vex said. After picking up the crystal and placing it in his pocket, his mood had calmed down, and his eye color had returned to normal. "Well, that was fun, wasn't it?" he said, facing the others. Seeing this, Vorden felt like Quinn was acting a little bipolar. Just moments ago, his voice sounded like he would snap Zach's head apart, but now he seemed to be over the moon. However, Vorden didn't say anything, as he wasn't the one to talk about a person having mood swings. Just then, the admit man had entered the room. The other student had left to join the others when he saw Zach and them going. "What happened?" the man said with his hands held above his head. The top part of the machine was smashed to bits. It was beyond repair. A whole new machine would need to be ordered. "We should have told those guys to stay behind," said Vex. "Now we're going to get the blame and have to pay for this." The man was about to tear them a new one. He told the kids how they should respect the property that wasn't owned by them, but when seeing the large number in the room, indicating which booth this was, he quickly realized it was the same one from the video. "Did you do this?" the man asked, looking at Quinn. The video that was shown was from the top right. In the video, one was unable to see the face, but could see all the actions performed. The only thing that could be seen as the black curly hair. "Yes, it was me," Quinn replied. "No, you idiot. Why do you have to be so honest? Just say it was the others who ran away," Vex said. "They have the incident on video anyway," Sam said. "On the video, there will be no proof that the others did anything, and would just show Quinn kicking the top part, so it's best not to lie." The students stood there worried for Quinn. The man was quite large, and they were afraid of the consequences they might have to face. "If you need to, I can pay for the machine," Vorden offered. "I can chip in as well," Vex added. "Me too," Sam replied, feeling a little awkward if he didn't offer as well after everyone else had done. But he wasn't rich like the others, and didn't want them to take him up on his offer. The man looked at Quinn. If he was the one in the video, it was expected that something like this might have happened. "You have good friends. Accidents like this can happen. Don't worry about it, and don't let it happen again," the man said. They were shocked at the response, but decided to try to leave as soon as possible and not argue back with the results. There was a good chance that the man might change his mind, so they quickly decided to leave the place. "Make sure I don't see you here again," the man shouted at them with a smile. The four boys were back out at the platform, and the night sky was now fully out. The stairs could be seen above them, and they looked beautiful. Most of the students who were on the platform had already headed back to their hotel to get some sleep.
Sorry if this
Although
video
there was
is
no curfew,
an hour
students were
long.
excited to watch the matches that started early in the morning. The group continued to walk in a circle on the platform and reached Sam's hotel. Before parting ways, Sam wanted to get as much information out of Quinn as possible. You were skillful back there. I can't believe what you did. You know, I feel slightly embarrassed now that I offered to help you when you didn't need it, Sam said, laughing. Don't worry about it, Quinn said. You offered to help even though you didn't know us. In this world, there aren't many who would do that. If you don't mind me asking, how did you do that with the machine earlier? How can you move so fast? Is it something to do with your ability? Sam asked. Quinn thought a bit